A year ago, I was on my way to Seattle. Right now, I was on an airplane to go see my grandmother, who was very sick. And she had been in a nursing home. Thanksgiving Day, she aspirated on her food. So, to those of you that don't have dysphagia, that means that the food she was eating went in her airway instead of into her esophagus. This is a problem. For those of you that have dysphagia, I am so sorry. It's awful. It's hard. It's rough. And I want someone to be paying attention to what you're going through. My grandmother was admitted to the hospital. I didn't fly out there right away. That was my first mistake. I bought a ticket on November 29th. I flew out on November 30th into a snowstorm in Seattle. And if any of you have ever been in Seattle in the wintertime in the snow, you're not a fan of driving because people out there are crazy in the snow. They don't know how to drive in the snow. So if you're in Seattle, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So I called a friend of mine. She picked me up from the airport. Well, her husband picked me up from the airport. And I stayed the night at their house. The next morning, December 1st, I drove to Gig Harbor. It's about an hour drive. And my grandmother passed 4 hours before I got there. And that was the start of a very long year. Technically, November 30th was the start of a very long year because my stress was so high that day that my gut has never been the same. So for those of you that are struggling with stress, for those of you that are struggling with anxiety, for those of you that are struggling with other health problems, I feel you. For those of you that have been to the doctor and had your doctor say, oh, it's all in your head, I know what that feels like. I've been there recently. Can't get somebody to help me because they don't want to dig deep enough because their excuse is it's all in my head, right? Now, my problem is not a swallowing one, but that is my specialty. That is who I help. I help people that have trouble getting nutrition and hydration into their bodies because their swallowing mechanism has a problem. Okay, so why do I tell you this story? Well, dysphagia hits home for me. My grandmother aspirating on her Thanksgiving dinner, left alone. She had food in her bed, from what my aunt said. She should never have been left alone. She should never have been left unsupervised. That was the start of the end of her life, right there. And so I don't wish that on anyone. None of you deserve that. None of you that are caregivers and family members and loved ones deserve to go through what I went through. None of you should have to go through that. And then the hospital screwing up, notifying my family of her death, and me being the first one to find out, having flown and then driven, was unforgivable. So this year is going to be better. I wish that for me. I wish that for my family. I wish that for you. Because last year sucked. But it's a new day, and I am determined to help make other people's lives better. So if you need us, we're here for you.